Project Overview. Twin Lakes, Georgia is an active adult retirement community just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Construction is well underway, with community amenities and more than 370 homes already built as of May 2023. More than $200 million has been spent on development, resulting in the creation of enough jobs for all of the EB-5 investors in this project. Located within a rural targeted employment area, or TEA, Twin Lakes, Georgia offers EB-5 investors a secure EB-5 loan investment with a faster path to green cards and access to the 20% EB-5 visa set aside. Set-aside visas help EB-5 investors avoid current and future visa backlogs. Twin Lakes, Georgia is being developed by the Kolter Group, one of the top 25 largest private single-family home builders in the United States. Since its founding in 1997, Kolter has successfully repaid billions of dollars in debt and has never failed to repay a loan or to complete one of its development projects. The EB-5 loan has a repayment guarantee provided by a diversified Kolter parent company. This makes Twin Lakes, Georgia unique among EB-5 investments. Twin Lakes, Georgia is the 15th collaboration between Kolter and EB-5AN. This collaboration builds on a proven track record and 100% approval of all previous Kolter EB-5AN EB-5 projects. About EB-5AN. EB-5AN is well recognized as a national leader in the EB-5 industry. EB-5AN operates a network of more than 10 EB-5 regional centers covering more than 30 states and has a 100% EB-5 project approval rate. Over 2,300 EB-5 investors from more than 60 countries have chosen to invest through EB-5AN-sponsored regional center projects like Twin Lakes, Georgia. EB-5AN has been involved in over $2 billion of real estate development and has directly facilitated the creation of over 17,000 EB-5 eligible jobs across 15 EB-5 projects with Kolter. About Kolter. Kolter is one of the largest developers in the southeastern United States, with over $24 billion of in process and realized development across more than 180 development projects, including more than 20,000 single-family homes. Kolter's award-winning home projects have a proven record of success with home buyers throughout the southeastern United States. Kolter offers home buyers affordable options for spacious homes with great value. Kolter brings financial security and an award-winning management team with more than 200 years of cumulative real estate experience to the Twin Lakes, Georgia project. Since its founding in 1997, Kolter has successfully repaid billions of dollars in debt and has never failed to repay a loan or to complete one of its development projects. Kolter Homes is the largest and oldest of Kolter's 5 business divisions. About Kolter Homes.
We interviewed and surveyed over 2,500 active adults and said, hey, what do you want? And we took the top 10 things that they told us and we put them in every one of our houses.
We chose Kolter Homes because of the wide variety of models that they had and the almost infinite variety of options that we could get with Kolter Homes.
They come into our welcome center, they're greeted, their house plans are explained to them, they walk through the models.
Being that there was a model home here that you could see it all in place, it helped to paint the picture for us.
We loved the style of the homes, the open floor plans, we felt the quality of the homes, the focus on energy efficiency.
There was something I liked in every model home.
To see the different stages, to see when they're pouring the foundation, and then they're putting up the walls, and then they're adding on the roof, and just seeing it at each stage. You can tell, I mean, the care that they put into building this house.
We here at Kolter pride ourselves on communication constantly and that we're always accessible.
About Twin Lakes, Georgia. Twin Lakes, Georgia is an active adult retirement community just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Twin Lakes, Georgia is situated on more than 900 acres of beautiful land featuring 2 large lakes. The project offers tranquility and a place to enjoy outdoor recreation such as fishing, kayaking, and hiking along miles of nature trails. Twin Lakes, Georgia features resort-style community amenities, including a clubhouse, tennis courts, and one of the largest pickleball complexes in the Southeast. The community's clubhouse has ballroom and event spaces, an event lawn, kayak launch point, outdoor band shell, and magnificent views of one of the lakes. The clubhouse is also home to the community's indoor pool, outdoor pool, and fitness center. 15 different home plans are offered, ranging in size from 2,058 to 3,620 square feet. Prices for base models range from approximately $317,000 to $545,000. Numerous premium upgrades and additions are available to buyers. All homes feature a large open-concept kitchen and living room with a private outdoor space. The project's central location offers convenient access to Atlanta, the city of Athens, the Blue Ridge Mountains, and Lake Lanier. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport is just 50 minutes from Twin Lakes, Georgia, and downtown Atlanta is only 40 minutes away. Twin Lakes, Georgia is also located near Chateau Elan, Georgia's most famous winery and resort, and is close to historic downtown Hoshton. Construction progress and home sales. Construction of Twin Lakes, Georgia is well underway. More than 370 homes have already been completed and delivered to buyers. Construction of the community's clubhouse and other amenities has also been completed, and the amenities are now open to residents. As of March 2023, more than $200 million has been spent on project development costs. Through May 31, 2023, Kolter has sold more than 520 homes. The on-site sales team works from a large waiting list of buyers as Kolter releases each monthly batch of homes. EB-5 job creation. For each EB-5 investor in Twin Lakes, Georgia to obtain a green card, the project must create more than 10 jobs per EB-5 investor. Development of the Twin Lakes, Georgia project will create a total of 6,934 EB-5 eligible jobs, far more than the number of jobs required for all EB-5 investors in the project to qualify for their green cards. This significant surplus of jobs exists because EB-5 investment represents only a small percentage of the total capital required to develop the project. As of March 2023, the project has already created more than 1,800 EB-5 eligible jobs. This means that Twin Lakes, Georgia has already created significantly more than enough jobs to satisfy the job creation requirement for all EB-5 investors in the project. Investor testimonials. EB-5AN helps support prospective EB-5 investors through their due diligence process on the Twin Lakes, Georgia EB-5 project. Next, you will hear from real Twin Lakes, Georgia EB-5 investors as they discuss their experience working with EB-5AN and why they decided to invest $800,000 in the Twin Lakes, Georgia EB-5 project.
You really try to find a stable project where the greatest likelihood is that the capital will be returned to you after all the job creation requirements are met, especially in terms of real estate where experience and expertise and having a good track record is absolutely critical. We really liked the Kolter Development Company, Kolter Homes. They've been in business for over 25 years. I believe they've developed over 20,000 homes over that time. They have seen economic cycles before. They've been through recessions before. They have always remained solvent, repaid any capital, any loans. They have the experience to weather economic storms. This is not their first rodeo. They are expert. They have a formula that has worked over a number of years, over literally thousands of homes. They have many of this type of project, active 55 plus community under development right now. So you're dealing with a firm that has experience, has the marketing know-how, are well capitalized. They've been through tough economic times before. They know how to respond. They are experts. So that's something that we really liked about Twin Lakes. Another thing we liked is that the project of 1,300 homes is already well advanced. The land has been purchased. All the permits are in place. Many of the road networks and the common area facilities, such as the clubhouse, the pickleball center, all of that has already been built.
I went with Twin Lakes because I thought that was where my money would be the safest for me. Long story short, a good project which was already be in construction, a good project with a developer who were reputed and had like a good track record, and a regional center who had a good track record, who had been in the business for a while, and who were responsive and who were willing to answer most of your questions, because obviously if you're spending $800,000, you're bound to have a lot of questions.
To my mind, the single most important factor that matters in a real estate development like this is the track record of the developer. If they have a successful track record of doing this in the past, and not just once, but multiple times, that gives me great comfort that they know what they're doing and that they're going to repeat the track record. And Kolter Homes has a long track record in the Southeast of developing residential real estate sort that Lakes represents. And so given that track record, I felt that they would be an excellent source of investment and would produce the kind of results I was looking for.
I have 3 letters, and that is SAM. It's you, Sam, because whenever I spoke with you, again, just your professionalism, your the way you communicate, you've never forced us to sign on any project without helping us as much as you can, and letting us complete our due diligence, right? And just the overall, I guess how to put this? Yes, the overall vibes, right? I mean, that's something that you cannot explain. But whenever I spoke with you, I always felt relief that Twin Lakes is the project and EB-5 and is the company that I want to invest through.
And the one statistic which stood out to me was, and I'm still amazed by it, is the most financially well-off category of citizens in the US are senior citizens. Given that they have a lot of cash available, they are most likely not going to be dependent on mortgage rates as much.
Everything was being done. They are one of the top 5 private home builders in the United States, and had an excellent reputation of, they started, I think, if I'm right, 1997, I remember, and built over 20,000 homes. So reputation was impeccable. The EB-5 end were very transparent. One of the most important thing was you looked at who are the promoters, who are the people behind. They were all highly educated, very very good background, excellent pedigree, and all that translated when we interacted. For example, Sam and even his colleagues, when we interacted, very professional, and they were open. They were able to share what all can be shared. They gave everything up front, subscription profit, and everything they've seen in advance. And so at every stage, we had any doubt, we could call, and that was answerable.
The main reason I was looking at Twin Lakes, Georgia, is because it qualifies for rural. And then the other reason, they have all the jobs created already. So I should say, looking at their latest information, that they are almost halfway through their project. I should say about 30 to 40%, they've already completed their construction, and the sales are ongoing, and most of the jobs are already created.
would definitely recommend EB-5, and specifically things that really was great working with you guys was the detailed docs and the agreements, and your ability to be really quick in responses to my questions.
EB-5 Investor Safety. EB-5 investors in Twin Lakes, Georgia benefit from many features that reduce their financial and immigration risk. First, the project's continued development is not dependent on EB-5 investment. From early 2019 until September 2022, Twin Lakes, Georgia was funded almost entirely with developer equity and a senior loan from Wells Fargo Bank. The Wells Fargo loan has since been replaced with a loan from Third Coast Bank. The project is fully capitalized and is not dependent on EB-5 investment. Compliance with the EB-5 program is vital for EB-5 investors to obtain their green cards. EB-5AN provides the project with best-in-class EB-5 investment oversight and EB-5 program compliance. Twin Lakes, Georgia offers EB-5 investors an I-526E approval refund guarantee. This means that if USCIS denies an EB-5 investor's I-526E petition, 100% of his or her invested capital will be promptly refunded. Additionally, the Twin Lakes, Georgia EB-5 loan is secured by a repayment guarantee from a Kolter parent company. This feature of Twin Lakes, Georgia is unique among EB-5 projects. The loan repayment guarantee is backed by a diversified Kolter parent company with substantial assets and net equity. Another unique feature of the Twin Lakes, Georgia EB-5 loan is that it provides each EB-5 investor with their own individual loan term. Each EB-5 investor's loan term begins on the date that his or her funds are deployed and ends after 5 years. Kolter has the option to extend the loan term for 2 periods of 1 year each. This structure is beneficial to EB-5 investors because it makes each EB-5 investor's repayment timeline clear and independent from that of the other EB-5 investors. Benefits of rural TEA EB-5 projects. The Twin Lakes EB-5 project is in a rural TEA, which offers EB-5 investors many benefits. Historically, the primary benefit to investing in a TEA project was that doing so entitled investors to a reduced investment requirement. Under the EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act of 2022, this benefit remains true. The minimum investment for TEA projects is $800,000, as opposed to the standard minimum investment amount of $1,050,000. A new benefit of investing in a rural TEA is that a number of EB-5 visas are reserved each year for investments in rural TEAs. The addition of these reserved EB-5 visas makes rural TEA projects particularly attractive. To be eligible for a reserved visa, investors in rural TEA projects must have I-526E priority dates on or after March 15, 2022. Investors from nations with low demand for EB-5 visas are expected to experience slightly faster visa processing relative to normal. The greatest benefit, however, will be felt by investors from countries experiencing or likely to experience visa retrogression. Reserved visas are given priority even if a country is otherwise experiencing visa retrogression. Investors eligible for reserved visas who would typically have to wait for a visa due to retrogression may face a shorter or no delay in EB-5 visa availability. For example, Chinese and Indian nationals who invest in rural TEA projects will not have to wait for cutoff dates to advance. In many cases, they may be able to immigrate to the United States years earlier than investors who do not qualify for reserved visas. Investing in a rural TEA project offers the greatest opportunity to obtain a reserved visa. EB-5 visas reserved for investors in rural TEA projects represent 20% of total EB-5 visas, double the number set aside for high unemployment, TEAs, and 10 times greater than the number set aside for infrastructure projects. Additionally, rural projects have historically represented a small minority of all EB-5 projects, which likely means less competition for the limited supply of reserved visas. The earlier investors make qualifying investments in TEA projects and file their I-526E petitions, the better the likelihood they will obtain reserved visas for themselves and their families. Rural TEA projects also offer investors faster I-526E processing, meaning a reduced wait time for green cards. Experts in the EB-5 industry agree that rural EB-5 projects are the best option for EB-5 investors from countries that are currently experiencing visa backlogs or are likely to experience them in the near future, including China and India. Next, you will hear from Ronald Klasko Esquire, founder and managing partner of Klasko Immigration Law Partners, LLP, and Charles Oppenheim, Director of Visa Consulting at WR Immigration, as they discuss the advantages of rural EB-5 projects on live webinars hosted by EB-5AN.
The benefit is that if you invest in a project such as a rural project, for which there's no waiting list, as soon as the I-526E petition is approved, you can immediately begin the process of getting an immigrant visa at the U.S. consulate, presumably in Guangzhou. Let's take two examples. One is I'm an investor from China, and I decide to invest today in a project that is not in one of these set-aside categories. Well, it's reasonable to assume that I will be waiting probably well more than 10 years before I'm able to immigrate to the US. However, if I'm sitting in China and I invest in, for example, a rural project, as soon as the EB-5 petition is approved, I can immediately commence what's called the DS-260 process, the immigrant visa process, that will result in my getting an interview and my family coming to the United States as conditional permanent residents. The other thing that the new law does, only for rural projects, not for a high unemployment project, is something called priority processing of EB-5 petitions. Now, we don't know exactly what that's going to mean, but we do know that it means that Congress has said that the Immigration Service must process, must adjudicate, must decide EB-5 petitions for investors in rural areas before they decide petitions for other investors. So if I'm sitting in China, I'm saying there's two important new things for me. Even though I can't do that concurrent adjustment of status, two things are very important. One is if I invest in a rural project, I have no waiting list, and as soon as my EB-5 petition is approved, I can process my immigrant visa and come to the US and probably save more than 10 years. And two, my EB-5 petition should be decided more quickly because Congress has said it must get priority or quicker process.
Again, assuming all the petitions which are being filed are being processed at the same time, I think it is very likely that a final action date would be imposed in the infrastructure reserved area because they're only getting 2% of the limit. So the amount of numbers that are going to be available under that limit is going to be much lower, and per country limits apply to each of these reserved categories. So of the 400 numbers that, of the 280 numbers that are available initially for the infrastructure category this year, any individual country is only entitled to 7% of that 280 number. That would be the per country limit. So again, I think the takeaway is the rural with the 20% is the most favorable to apply on at this time.
About the Atlanta metropolitan area. Twin Lakes, Georgia benefits from its close proximity to Atlanta. Atlanta is the capital and the most populous city in the state of Georgia, and is an important cultural and economic center in the southeastern United States. Known as the City in the Forest, Atlanta is diverse and home to world-renowned restaurants, museums, sports teams, and musical venues. Atlanta also hosts the global headquarters of major corporations, including the Coca-Cola Company, the Home Depot, AT&T Mobility, and UPS. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport is the busiest airport in the world. It is the home of Delta Airlines and is the world's largest airline hub. The Atlanta metropolitan area offers several major attractions, such as the Atlanta Botanical Garden, Zoo Atlanta, the World of Coca-Cola Museum, and the Georgia Aquarium. Atlanta's temperate weather allows residents to enjoy outdoor activities year-round. These activities include golfing, fishing, and hiking. The city also offers several events and festivals throughout the year. A diverse community, robust economy, and abundant outdoor space makes the Atlanta metropolitan area one of the most attractive areas in the United States. For more information on the Twin Lakes, Georgia Rural EB-5 project, please contact EB-5AN today.